Isn't that the essence of life? That you don't need anything else to fill a void or make you feel secure, just with you and your God and yourself. That's it. I think we should read. For us, we came on the mission team last year, December 27th, to start the church with reference to God for what He's done and told God and God alone. It's actually a lot easier when you're part of a group that had, maybe for a month or two, I don't remember how long, had been planning, working together, having regular meetings, to come out to a state that you've never been to, a city that you've never maybe you visited or you've never lived in. It's actually a lot easier because at least you're coming with a group of people that you've bonded with and you go, we know what we're doing. Different to a guy that wasn't in any of those meetings, that wasn't part of it all, decided and agreed and were presented to him, let me go to Melbourne and be on the mission team. Comes by himself, lives his life in Sydney, never been, I think maybe he said that's the truth, he's been to Melbourne before, but he's never lived in it. Everything, his life that he know of was back in Sydney. Left it all, left his job. No job in Melbourne. He was looking for a job beforehand, but didn't have anyone confirmed. To come, and it could feel out of place a little bit at the beginning. Because you're not used to making jokes with that person where you used to make jokes with that other person. I remember one time I met him, he goes, I'm afraid to joke because I feel like I'm going to hurt you. I'm like, I appreciate your consideration. But I think you should be more afraid of me not hurting you. Anyway, but that's how that was public for everyone to. Anyway, but it's I really deeply, that's incredible. That took him just going, I have a relationship with God and I believe God will figure it out for me. I remember my friends, Leja and Mina, who lives at church in Fiji. They were newly married. They were untrained in the ministry. Yet they went on a mission team. They were in New Zealand at that time. Went on a mission team to Fiji. That's it. Untrained, newly married. But yet what did they have? They had their God. And that was more than enough. And yet God alone, through the other mission team members, Beric, Paul, who was there initially, Jack, God took their church from 9 to 26. Just God and themselves. And even my friend Goaz, I love Goaz. Look at his fresh new haircut. That's what happens when money comes in. He's not working, making money. I was in the back, me and Juju in the back talking to my GoPro. Because Goaz had a job, then he helped Juju get the same job. And then yesterday on Saturday, Juju was working. Goaz wasn't. I go, Goaz, bro, Juju took your job. He goes, no, bro, yeah, no, man, I wanted to work, but I was looking after the kids. I was like, yeah. Does Ray works as well? Does Ray used to work alone? He goes, she only works one day. I was like, yeah, Juju, and I was like, bro, what's in your heart? But it's great to see him. I think about it. He lived in a small island called Kiribati. Small island. All you have is water and fish. Am I wrong? Let's go. Sorry. And a hammock. I'm sure there's one hammock there. He moved over because his wife was here. He was back in Kiribati with his kids. To move to a foreign country, first of all, the city of Melbourne is bigger than Kiribati itself. The state of Victoria is bigger than Kiribati itself. All of Australia is probably bigger than a lot of combined of all the different islands. To move to a big city that you know nothing about. Why? Because your wife is in that city. And it's a good idea to move there. He moved. Didn't have a job. Knew that he needed to get a job to provide for his family. Came into a church that his wife has been going to. It couldn't feel awkward. Do I go to that church or not? What if I don't agree? But yet to have the confidence, if my wife has been going, I want to find out why I want to know the truth for myself.
Come on.
Yet for God to use that he got right with God, got baptized. God granted him a job, providing for his family, doing what Andrew's name means, manually.
Wow.
That takes a lot of security in God.
Right.
That takes a lot of you going, with my God and my God alone, I can achieve anything. Let me ask you, do you have that in your life? Do you feel like you can walk into a situation, the things that fears you the most, and believe that with God, or maybe you don't believe in God, but do you struggle to walk into a situation to believe that you can overcome? You know what happens when you don't have God in a situation? The person that you rely confidence on is you. But you know what sucks about relying on you? You yourself are scared. lion, you're softly scared. That's why I love God. Because with him, all things are possible. In a way, Andrew have learned this deep security from. I think perhaps he could have learned it from his initial mentor or his initial leader first, which was John the Baptist. John the Baptist is one of the most humble people in the Bible. I mean, studying him out will blow your mind about humility. John chapter 3, 22 to 30 says, after this, Jesus and his disciples went out into the Judean countryside, where he spent some time with them and baptized. Now, John also was baptizing at Anna near Salmon, because there was plenty of water. People were constantly coming to be baptized. This was before John was put in prison. An argument developed between some of John's disciples and a certain Jew over the matter of ceremonial worship. They came to John and said to him, Rabbi, that man who was with you on the other side of the Jordan, the one you testified about, well, he's baptizing and everyone is going to him. So set the scene. John comes out before Jesus, preaching that there's going to be a guy called Jesus coming. People start to gather around him. People start to come repent. He's baptizing them. He's gaining momentum. He's got a following now. Then this guy Jesus shows up from nowhere and starts doing what he's doing as well, preaching and baptizing. His disciples come and go, John, that dude Jesus, he is baptizing as well. And what does John reply? To this, John replied, a man can receive only what is given him from heaven. You yourself can testify that I said, I am not the Christ, but I'm sent to heaven. The bride belongs to the bridegroom. The friend who attends the bridegroom waits and listens for him, and is full of joy when he hears the bridegroom's voice. That joy is mine and is now complete. He must become greater. I must become less. Wow. John never gave himself credit that never belonged to him. He goes, I am not the Messiah. That even they call I am not the Messiah. How tempting it would have been for him to take that glory for himself. Have you ever, it's like you help decorate something, right? All you did was maybe you blew 2 balloons. Someone comes and goes, wow, this decoration is amazing. You go, yeah, no, I did. Or for all of us who don't know how to cook, you go into the kitchen and all you do is cut the onions. Someone tastes the food, wow, this food is amazing. Cooked it. He didn't take it. In fact, he says that Jesus must become greater and he must become less. How willing are you to be less and for others to be greater? This can show a lot when you are wanting something and your friends and those around you get it before you. I want a date, but you don't, and your friend dates. I want to marry, but you don't. I want a better job, but you don't. It really tests you. Why? You want to know what it tests? Are you secure in it? Because at the end of the day, all you have is God. If you have God, that is enough. Everything else is a cherry on top. Perhaps Andrew learned such deep security from John the Baptist. And after all, John the Baptist had nothing. Living in the desert, eating locusts. Let me ask you, how secure do you feel in God's love for you, in God's plan for your life? How secure do you even feel in general? I think a lot of times we add things to ourselves. New identity, new representation, new us, because we are grasping, longing to find something to fill a void within us. We are just deeply insecure. Humans are just deeply insecure kids. In every adult is just a little kid that is lost. You're just a little kid that is, I'm a little kid that is lost. I went to a conference, and that was one of the first times I traveled without my wife. I had an identity crisis. I genuinely did. I'm not lying. I'm being serious, man. I'm being serious. I genuinely had to go like, where do I fit in? Normal day-to-day things that I would do, I knew how to do because if I go to meet with my friends, Joe and Kerry, it's a normal pattern. I arrive with my wife's trying to see Kerry, I'm chatting to Joe. Then at some point we all laugh. I would have Kerry in the beginning and all that. Then I go off with Joe, do my thing, and peace with Kerry. It would also, what the heck, where do I fit in? What do I do? I wait for you to experience the same thing. So I became the guy to make other people joyful. Now I'm not going to be too much, but that's not the point. The point is, I think most humans are like that. You are lost, you don't know who you are, and you're searching to find who you are. That's okay. That's fine. It's recognizing that and ask yourself, who would you rather give you your identity? Yourself, or the humans, or the very person that created you and knows you at the back of his hands? His exact destiny and role for your life. Are you looking for your security with God plus money, career, looks, and partner or friends? Do you fight God or those around you to get recognition or get your desires or your rights met? How easily do you get hurt if you get left out, forgotten, unappreciated? Is life unfair for you? In your eyes, do people or God treat you unfairly? Is the Christian life all about you and all about Jesus' kingdom? Getting your needs met or meeting the needs of the kingdom? Do your joy levels go up and down when you don't get what you want in life? When you're not secure in God, man, your happiness fluctuates like no tomorrow. Are you secure and swayed in your emotions or spirituality when you do not see what the desires of your heart will come from? I think there's nothing like seeing Christians thrive because they're focused on God, not men. I think my friend Juju has been broke for a while. Yes. We are secure enough to say. He hasn't had a job. He's been looking for work. Visa situation, he has a religious visa, but he hasn't got a working visa. It's hard. That's tough. You're in a situation, you live with people that have jobs or has work, you feel like you're a leech, you feel like you're a burden. But he has to learn to depend on God and God alone. And how would God have it? He tried many different things. He even walked around asking people to mow their lawn. Thank you for the idea, JT. No one said anything to him. No. But it wouldn't be by his hands that God would give him work. It would be through God. The very person that didn't have a job in the beginning. He was looking for work himself. Through him, God would give the jobless a job. But isn't that what it is? When you focus on God, God takes care of you. I think about it, it's like an analogy. Think about it. To help you understand what it's like to walk with God, let's say two people goes in for a job interview. One person from Melbourne University and another person from Monash. Let's say that Monash kid is a Christian, believes in God. They're kind of similar in their application and who they are, but Melbourne University may be a bit better than Monash. Anyway, you would think, surely, that kid that goes to Melbourne University, though it's a bit similar, he goes to better university, more prestigious, his resume is just a little bit much better. Surely, by human logic, he should get the job, shouldn't he? He walks in, gives it a phenomenal interview, speaks well, looks nice. Then you have the other Monash kid sitting there, and he's going to go after. What is he doing? Praying. Just praying. He looks good, looks okay, not too bad, just praying. The Melbourne University kid walks out, goes, I got the job. Says to the Monash kid, good luck, I think I got this one. Hope you find the next job. Monash kid goes and does an interview. 2 weeks later, they call. And they give the job to the Monash kid. Happens all the time in Christian life. You get things that you should not deserve. You get things that technically by your status, by who you are, you shouldn't get. I was in New Zealand, I was hearing a story of one of the sisters in the church. Got a lecturing job at a college. And she's never lectured before. I'm like, I'm from the street, I'm like, why am I listening to you? Anyway, got a lecturing job. She's never lectured before. Why? She hasn't got it. And then God supplies her, takes care of her. Happens all the time to Christians. I think finances are never issues with Christians. God is our finance and takes care of us. If you struggle with finances, you need to really invest in something called God, not cryptocurrency. It's a good investment. I don't know about this guy. As many know, I acted in this movie way back when I called Great Gatsby. But anyway, long story short, they give me royalties from time to time. Royalties that there used to be a lot when the movie, when we first finished, like, every month you get me like whatever, I can't remember specifically. But then he slows down, it's like every 6 months, every whatever. And that money always seems to come in time and finances that time. And with my wife on Friday, we're praying together. And she's like, she managed to find, she's like, finances are tight, finances are not great, God. I just pray that, like, we can get some money from Greg Gatsby. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me check my hands in the account after we finish praying. We finished praying, I checked my hands in the account, that was on Friday. On Thursday, the day before, they had put money in my account. Wow. God already knew our needs a day before my wife prayed that need. How much was it? Only $47.12. To some of you, it's more money. That's fine, you rich people. That's fine. That allowed us to put petrol in our car. My God never promises to give me my wants, He promises to give me my needs. He met my needs. I'm more than content. Reminds me of something that when we were back in Sydney, we went to Coles, money was tight, we're like, man, only if we had money from Greg Gatsby. I didn't even need for break that time. Only if we had money from Greg Gatsby. I opened my hands account, that was like 30 something dollars in it. We went shopping with that one. Checked it. Right, I think I get maybe a day or whatever before. Finances are never a problem for Christians. God meets your needs. It's when you start worrying that God goes, well, you idiot, why are you worried? I told you not to worry, I will take care of you. Or maybe you're too consumed with your want and you're not grateful for the needs that God already has given you. Loneliness. I think loneliness is a real thing in the world. Not having friends you can really trust. As a real thing in the world. The fears that comes with that. I think about Zach. I love my friend Zach. He's looking sharp, talking sharp. But Zach was a bit of a lonely kid before he studied the Bible. Don't worry, he will tell himself this is guaranteed information. But he was. Kind of like James, who went to the same university, but they really hadn't spoken for that long. He had his dorm and the walls in his dorm. That was it. Kind of lonely. Yet I look at Zach now. How God has helped him increase his ability to make friends. You ask like, how was the conference? Oh wow, that was amazing. He was just connected with a guy called Owick. Zach is Chinese. Owick is from Nauru. He's in Brisbane. Goes to a conference, connects and makes friends with him. Makes friends with people from Brisbane, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Auckland. I think how God has literally taken a guy that was lonely and he's given him loads and loads of friends and the ability to make so many other friends. I think most people in the world live for their parents. And this is a real thing. Most people actually live for their parents. But let me ask you a question. What happens when your parents die? Who are you going to live for them? Most people literally go, if I make my parents happy, then I'm fulfilling my purpose in life. If I am obeying my parents, what if your parents dies tomorrow? Then what becomes of your life? It's just empty. Because you live for not a real purpose in life. Never live for any humans. Humans will, not can, will disappoint. I think Gigi went from living for a family to seeing his parents baptized and saved. I think what my friend did. Went from only trusting his grandma and his mom. That was his trust circle. Very big circle, isn't it? Mother and brother. That's all he had. To expanding that circle of friendship and trust. So that now I didn't know this. This was apparently new knowledge to the whole community. That his mom is going to host a barbecue for the church. I was like, that is insane. His mom wanted, that's another story for another day. His mom wanted nothing. And I'm just amazed. A guy that only had 2 people he trusted in his life to now grow his circle of trust and his circle of friendship. So how do you get secure? Security comes from knowing knowledge, knowing your Bible, knowing how God sees and feels about you. You're insecure because you don't understand that God says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Some of us just struggle to feel beautiful. Some of us just struggle to think we look good. Some of us struggle the opposite. We think we look so good, and you need to realize you're not that good looking. But some of us just struggle to feel like to go, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I am a good looking specimen. Not because you're 10 out of 10, just because God says you're good and awesome and fearfully and wonderfully. Some of us can't even look at ourselves in the mirror because we look and we cry and we're not happy with what we see. Who told you that you're not good enough? Humans? The fact that some other humans has to tell you that you're not good enough means they're not good enough themselves. That they have to tell you you're not good enough just to feel good enough themselves. That's concerning. Not from listening to humans or emotions. Prayer, being close to God than anyone else, closeness to God makes you feel secure. Why? Because you go, God has me all the time, any day, all day. God needs to be enough for you. Point 2. Andrew was solution-orientated, not a faithless realist. It is so easy to be faithless realist, to look at the facts and see nothing more. No area is this seen more in most people's life than when considering your own personal finances. I love Zach. I only had $20 to my name. His whole entire contribution. I kept waiting for the point, but he kept repeating that he's broke. I'm like, bro, what's the point? You may think, this is the money in my account. What can I do? Do you believe that God can change your account around like that? But if all that God can do, is that all that God can do? In John chapter 6, 1-2, we love this story. It says, sometime after Jesus crossed to the far shore of the Sea of Galilee, that is the Sea of Tiberias. And a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the miraculous signs he had performed on the sick. Then Jesus went up on a mountainside, sat down with his disciples. The Jewish Passover was near. When Jesus looked up and saw a great crowd coming towards him, he said to Philip, where shall we buy bread for these people to eat? He asked this only to test him. Poor Philip. For he already had in mind what he was going to do. Philip answered, 8 months' wages will not even buy enough bread for each one to have a bite. Man, I feel for some of the disciples when Jesus asked them. And then one of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. But how far will they go among so many? Jesus said, have the people sit down. There was plenty of grass in that place. And the men sat down, and about 5,000 of them. Jesus then took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish. When they had had enough to eat, he said to his disciples, gather the pieces that are left over. Let nothing be wasted. So they gathered them and filled 12 baskets with the pieces of the 5 barley loaves left over by those who had eaten. After the people saw the miraculous sign that Jesus did, they began to say, surely this is the prophet who is to come into the world. Jesus, knowing that they intended to come and make him king by force, withdrew again to a mountain by himself. To set the scene, Jesus had performed miracles, lots and lots of it. Jesus sees the problem. He already had a solution in mind. Doesn't that suck when someone already has a solution? But then asks you, what do you think? I like it. But wants to expose his disciples' heart, to test it. He asked Philip, what did Philip see? The logic. He thought wage equals food. Not enough wage equals no food. Send them away. God often asks these questions of us when he already knows the answer. It's a good, there's the scripture, someone showed me the scripture and gave me inside. I can't remember, but I deeply knew it after that. Because when the scripture in Deuteronomy that says God left them to test what was in their heart. That's interesting. Doesn't God already know what is in your heart? So why would he test to know what is in your heart? It's not for him to know, it's for you to know. Sometimes God will ask you questions, not because he doesn't know the answer, but wants to see what you know. Yeah, look at Andrew's response. Andrew didn't come up with the right answer, but he came up with the beginnings of a solution that Jesus used and was willing to attempt this. He goes, how far will it go? Maybe he was thinking, break each bread, like just a little piece, and hand it to each people. Break each little fish. Whatever he was thinking, he wasn't thinking that it wasn't possible. He was thinking, how far can it go? I think about just, it's been amazing returning back and seeing some of the faith of the Christians, both at the conference and those here. Simply living on faith and seeing things happen as a result of their faith. So great returning. And I was evangelizing with Zach and Beta. Zach goes, yeah, I was doing my follow-up with my friend Nick. And I asked him when he could study the Bible. Zach and Chandala had met Nick at the arcade, I believe. Set up time with his friend Nick. We caught up with Nick on Friday, laughed a lot. He's a Richmond fan from AFL.
Oh, yes.
Those Richmond fans that know that we Swans at that. Anyway, we sat with Nick, had a conversation with him. Met again with Nick and Sunday, we studied the Bible. No one else had to do his follow-up. Zach was just inspired to do his follow-up. Followed up with his friend Mike. Mike came to Bible discussion. We caught up with Mike yesterday as well. I think about James. James was in New Zealand. I go, James, hey, we're going to keep this on Bible show. The Bible talks the same for this week. And Bible discussion is what we do every Friday. You think you can lead it? Sure, no problem. Can you organize it with Better and Mika? Already doing that. Comes back, leads a Bible discussion, got allowed to have 5 people at the Bible discussion to come and visit. I think about MJ. It's amazing. I picked her up from the airport. I was like, hey, MJ, do you think you can do the food for Friday? She said, I was like, yeah, let's ask your town. She goes, it's going to be hard anyway. I have to pick up my friend Anna before Bible talk. She already had probably organized that while she was in New Zealand, still thinking about converting people. Think of my wife. Love my princess. But we're gone. All she did, she lived her greatest life. If you know anything, she likes classic things, good food, and spending money on good things. What she did was just catch up with her friends and go for lunch while we were cooking. Lunch. Trying to get into people's life with the Bible, to help people to study the Bible. She was effective, proud of my wife. Is your faith enough for you to do great things for God? No question is God asking you right now in your life. What test is He giving you? In Chronicles 29:7 He says, I know my God, that you test the heart and are pleased with integrity. All these things I've given willingly with honest intent. And I have seen with joy how willing your people who are here have given to you. Test from God brings us joy when we have faith in Him and His power. And a lack of joy when we are simply faithless. Yet tests are given by God for us to pass. And the tests are given again and again until we pass. You know, what are your tests in your life? I think every one of us have our test, isn't it? Every one of us have to, is it faith to believe that you're going to have a healthy baby? That's the real test for women. Being pregnant is not easy, man. They got to have faith that they're going to go into labor and they're going to come out with a healthy kid and they're going to survive on the kids. That's the real test. Is it the test to not lose your mind as you wait for your exam results? That's the real test. Some of us are going to bed thinking about, did I pass, did I fail? Biting our nails, I think I failed. Wake up when I failed, next morning, no, I think I passed. You're checking that website, trying to see if the marks are released, just know it's not going to be released until December. That's a real test. Test, am I going to keep my job? Test, am I going to get my visa? Every one of us have a test in life that we have to go through. You know, think about it, like most people that are not Christians, how do they respond to problems in your life? What are some problems that humans face? Financial crisis, relationship problems, health crisis, workplace. I think most people have the biggest crisis in their workplace. Career pressure, unfair treatment, emptiness and boredom, friendship problems, confusion. Some people are just confused. I'm confused. My life is confused. My dog is confused. My cat is confused. Haunted past. Safety and security, failure, grief. University problems. Some of us are still shocked. Am I going to be able to study next year? But let's look at this problem, relationship. I think relationship is one of the deep problems people have in life. Relationships. You know what is the one thing that humans want in life? Relationships. Relationships. Boil it down, the one thing that humans want in life is relationships. To be loved and to love others. Yet you know the number one thing that hurts us the most? Relationships. How tough is that? The very thing you want in life is the very thing that will hurt you the most in life. Betrayals, distrust, people pushing you away. I think, how do people respond when relationships fail in life? I think sometimes people build the wall of China. What do I mean by that? They build a wall of protection. I'm done with these relationships. I'm going to build a wall Someone looks at you, you think they have a problem with you. Someone smiles at you, you think they're ready to kill you. Someone waves at you like, oh, they're planning my death. You know who's planning their death? You come near them and they prick you. If you try to hold a porcupine, don't do it. But you should do it. But don't do it. But you should do it. Emotionally, but not physically, unless when you get stabbed. You try to help them, they're poking you. Some of us are porcupines. Some of us, you know how COVID happened when there was a quarantine and isolation? Some of us invented that before the isolation came. Isolationists. They go into isolation mode. They go, the world is just wicked. The world is just selfish. You know what? The world is beyond repair. Therefore, I'm going to build a bunker for myself and just live and die in a bunker with me and my cats. We become isolationists. Let me just isolate myself from the world. That will solve all my problems. You know what's interesting about isolating yourself from the world? You're still left with the one problem called you. Have you ever been alone and you feel miserable? How does that work? Think about it. You believe the world makes you miserable. But then you're alone and you feel miserable. What does that tell you? You are the reason you're miserable. You are the misery. But you're laughing because it's true. Because when you're alone, you know what you have to face? Yourself. You know what brought you here? Your own emotions. And you realize, I am the misery. Some people wear iron chef knives. We are just knives. We don't care who we hurt. We go, you know what? If the world is going to hurt me, then I'm just going to hurt the world. You go into relationships for yourself and yourself alone, you don't care who you hurt. You're inconsiderate, you're insensitive, you don't care. You just go, I'm a knife. Come close, I cut you. I don't mind. Isn't that the corporate world? I don't mind who I step on to get to the top. So fire I'm at the top. That's how most people respond to relationships. And that's why the world is so sad. What is Christianity? What is the church? It's actually quite simple. We go, I'm a sinner. You're a sinner. I'm probably the biggest sinner than me, but you're a sinner. You're a sinner. You really are lonely and you need friends. I'm pretty lonely and I need friends too. I don't know what you would be if you're not a Christian, so become a Christian. And we're just a church full of hurt, broken, lack of trusting, sinful individuals that just come together to find our peace, our joy, our comfort, and healing from Jesus. And we share each other's hurts and laugh at each other. That's what we do. That's all it is. There's nothing special about us. Talk to any of us. You want to see my scar? I can show you right here. I got one here too. That's all we are. The only difference is in the world, people don't feel brave enough to get open about who they really are and to get real. That's all it is. People don't want to be Christians. If they really see who I am, then they won't love me. Let me tell you, there are people in this church that are sinning more than you could ever imagine. And God puts it that way, so what? You can feel comfortable. I think an example of a relationship with reconciliation. I think about my friends Peter and Aisha and Tina. They're siblings. Half, they don't know, I think it's a half, Tina's a half, but they're siblings. Tina. Oh, sorry, Tina is a cousin. Peter and Aisha are siblings, Tina is a cousin. So Aisha is a girl, she started studying the Bible. Peter is Aisha's brother. Peter and his family were not too happy that Aisha was studying the Bible. They lived in Samoa. Why was they not happy? Well, they're from Seventh-day Adventist background. So they goes, we don't like that they're studying the Bible. So one day, Aisha decided that she was going to sleep over the girl's house, the Christian girl's house. So she slept. Peter and his family are driving around looking for Aisha. Finally, one of the Christians gave the location of where Aisha was. She comes, they come, and he takes Aisha away from the Bible studies. Aisha was taken away. She stopped studying the Bible, but kind of was coming around. Eventually, she started studying the Bible again. Interestingly enough, she invites Peter to come join a Bible discussion. Peter goes, yes, I will come. But for one purpose, I'm going to debate with those guys and prove them wrong. So he comes. He comes, and then a Bible study is set up. He goes to do the Bible study. He now starts studying the Bible himself, though he came to prove them wrong. Aisha actually stopped studying the Bible. Peter then keeps studying the Bible, and now he himself gets baptized and becomes a disciple. Then he goes and brings his very sister that he kicked out of the Bible discussions to come study the Bible. She studies the Bible again, becomes a disciple. Then they bring their cousin Tina, she studies and becomes a disciple. Family reconciliation. That's the power of God in reconciling relationships. Because when it comes to hurt, God goes, there's no scar bigger than me dying on the cross. There's no whip larger than me being whipped. There's no hole bigger than the hole that went through my fingers, my hands. Anything you've gone through, times out by a billion, it doesn't even compare to what I went through. That's what helps us to have great relationships. You know, what's your problem? Have you got a solution? Solution-oriented people always have one. Read a book called 1 Minute Manager. My wife has read it. I haven't actually read it. Teaches you about a solution. You know, point 3. Andrew was a compulsive preacher, not a cowering procrastinator. Andrew had a spiritual ambition for himself and others. John 1, 40-42. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, was one of the two who heard that what John had said, and he had followed Jesus. The first thing Andrew did was to find his brother Simon and tell him where he found the Messiah, that is Christ, and he brought him to Jesus. Andrew wanted to have a spiritual impact in his life, and that is why he was a follower of John the Baptist. As soon as he met Jesus, he set about sharing about him. He did not even know all that Jesus was, but that did not matter. Just seeing him was enough. Andrew brought all types of people to Jesus. John 12, 20-22. Now there were some Greeks among those who went up to worship at the festival. They came to Philip, who was from Bethsaida in Galilee, with a request. So they said, we would like to see Jesus. Philip went to tell Andrew. Andrew and Philip in turn told Jesus. Just brought people to Jesus. You know, in conclusion, Andrew, a man who lived up to his name. What name would you like to live up to? What character? What would you like to live up to? You know that thing that you fear that you're not? What if that becomes you and for the rest of your life you live up to it? The this and this, the self-control. The this and this, the emotional discipline. You can live up to that name. Through who? Through God. You know, point 1, secure, not sensitive. You're going to find your security in God. All humans are insecure. Only God can give you security. Point 2, solution-oriented, not a faithless realist. You can be faithless all you want, but what good is that going to do you? All you're realizing is the fact. The fact ain't going to change. The only thing that can change the facts is God. The compulsive preacher, not a coward or procrastinator. You're going to preach and preach to all people. And I want to leave you with a challenge. Go out this week and simply do one brave thing that will shock even yourself. And that is the sermon for today. Amen.
Everyone, please stand on up. We'll be singing song number 9, Victory in Jesus. Amen. I heard an old story how a Savior came from glory. He gave his life on Calvary to save a wretch like me. I heard about his groaning, of his precious blood atoning. Then I repented of my sins and won the victory. bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew him, and all my love is to him. He plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever.
He loved me and bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me and I knew him, and all my love is to him. He plunged me to victory beneath the